Welcome back to Golf WRX's Winning What's in the Bag. This week we are taking a look at Taylor Pendrith's bag from the CJ Cup Byron Nelson. Down in Texas, it is Taylor's first win, so congratulations to him. Always exciting to see a guy get his first win on tour. And I'll be honest, in this video, we're going to have a lot of stock images. We don't have a really current images for his what's in the bag, but I did reach out to some OEMs and got some details, so I'm pretty sure I have it right, but the images are just going to be stock, so I apologize for that. A few of them are his shafts and stuff like that from an older what's in the bag that we shot, but I know we will probably work on getting some newer stuff for Taylor. So we'll start at the top as we always do, and with driver, Taylor's playing a Ping G430 LST. So the LST is the lowest spinning, lowest launching, more neutral ball flight driver in the G430 lineup from Ping. Taylor's playing a 9-degree head, and he has the hosel set to standard, which is just the zero, so standard loft, standard lie angle, and this rearward weight is also set to neutral, so that way you can shift to fade, shift to draw. He has set that to neutral as well. This driver is shafted up with an Acra TZ6ST 65 M5. And I know that's a lot, but basically it's a 65-gram class, extra stiff flex, and Acra is a big-time Canadian shaft manufacturer, makes really high-quality shafts, and it's fitting because Taylor is originally from Canada, which is pretty cool. But the TZ6ST is a kind of slightly higher launch, but very low-spin shaft. They describe it as high initial launch, very flat ball flight with controlled spin. It is tipped 1 inch and playing at 45 inches for Taylor and his driver, and it's got a D5 plus swing weight, which means I believe just slightly above D5 on the swing weight scale. Moving into his 3-wood, it's another Ping, and this is another G430, but it is the max 3-wood head, and that's the 15-degree model. Now this one, same thing, the hosel is set to the standard setting, and it is shafted up with a Project X Hazardous Smoke Green 80 65 TX. So the hazardous green, I know we've talked about it a few times a little while ago. It's the stiffest profile that Project X offers. Extremely stiff handle section, midsection, tip section. Just a very stout shaft overall for high-speed players or players with a very quick transition. It's low launch, low spin, and it's a 6.5, which is an X-Flex, but it also lists TX for the Tour X-Flex. I know Project X has a little different labeling for some of their Tour shafts, but the 6.5 TX is just a little bit stiffer and tighter than the standard 6.5 you would buy at retail. That one is also tipped 1 inch, and it plays at 42.5 inches for the 3-wood and has a D4 swing weight. So just slightly lighter than the driver, but overall a very stiff, low spinning shaft in that 3-wood. Then we move on to the 7-wood, and his 7-wood is another Ping, but slightly older, and this is going to be the Ping G425 Max, and this is the 7-wood, which is the 20.5-degree head. Didn't get exact hosel settings on this one, but it is a 20.5-degree head, and it is shafted up with a Project X Hazardous Smoke Green 90 6.5 TX. So this is a 90-gram weight class shaft. It is, probably playing a little bit shorter than 3-wood there, but it's, again, extremely stiff, extremely stable, very low launch, very low spin. The 90 6.5 TX, I can't imagine how stout that plays, but for a guy like Taylor who swings a little harder than me, it probably plays pretty well and gets him into the right launch conditions that he's looking for. Now, irons, he plays a little bit of a combo set. He's playing the Strixon ZX5 Mark II in his 4 and 5 iron, and then playing the Strixon ZX7 Mark II in the 6 through 9 irons. So the ZX5 is the multi-piece design, forged iron head. It's got a thinner, faster face that is actually welded to a forged body, and it offers better ball speed, a little higher ball flight, and sometimes a little bit higher, a little bit lower spin in those long irons for a little bit added distance, maybe a little bit added launch, softer landing angle, let it hold the green better. And then these ZX7 Mark IIs are complete one-piece forged heads. Really soft feel. Both irons have the Strixon's Tour V-Sole, which offers great turf interaction, whether you're a steep player, a shallow player, playing in firm or soft conditions. Just a really versatile sole design. All these irons are shafted up with True Temper Dynamic Gold X100 Tour Issue shafts. And as we've explained before, the Tour Issue meaning is basically they weight sort these shafts to within half a gram. So if you were to take the whole set of shafts for the whole set of irons and put them on a scale, none of them would be plus or minus half a gram within each other. So the weight is extremely tight, builds up a very consistent set of irons, and you can rely on the weight, the feel, the ball flight, all that to be very, very similar, if not exactly the same, throughout the whole build. Then we move into wedges, and he is actually playing the Cleveland RTX6 Zipcore Tour Racks. The Tour Rack meaning that they're the raw finish, so they have no chrome plating, black plating, anything like that. They're just raw steel that is going to rust eventually. The RTX6s are great wedges. They offer a ton of spin off the face there, whether it's off the fairway lie or rough lie, anything like that. A ton of spin, really great wedges. And he's playing a 46 10-degree midsole for his pitching wedge, and then he's playing a 52-10 midsole for his gap wedge, a 56-10 mid for his sand wedge, and a 60-09 full sole for his lob wedge. Now, the difference between the mid and full soles, the full sole's a little bit wider, a little bit larger sole that offers a little bit more forgiveness. As you open the face, you'll see more bounce come out of that. Great for playing out of the traps, maybe a little softer conditions or steeper players. The full sole is also great for shots that are played with the wedge square to the target. The midsole offers a little bit more versatility. It's actually similar a little bit to the iron sole, where it's got a little bit of a V. There's some trailing edge relief out on the toe, heel, and in the center. So Taylor's putter is actually an Odyssey Versa Jailbird 380 CS. Now, that's a lot to say there, but the Jailbird is, of course, the very famous head shape. It's kind of rounded with the square opening in the middle, and then it's got the two white lines for alignment. When Versa first came out, they said that players could easily identify 2 degrees of open or shut with the Versa alignment, allowing the player to square the putter up a little easier. Now, this is the 380 head, which is a little bit heavier. It's 380 grams, and CS stands for center shafted. So it's a center shafted putter, where field players tend to like these center shafted putters. They can really feel kind of where the face is throughout the stroke of the putt and manipulate it to make sure it is square at impact. So this one has a micro hinge insert, which to me is probably one of the softest inserts Odyssey makes. It's got the little metal tabs that come out that are backfilled with a polymer or rubber, and this also aids in kind of some added topspin to the ball as well on impact. Adds some topspin, reduces some skidding, offers a more consistent roll. It is playing at 34.5 inches long and a 69.5 degree lie angle. The putter has 3 degrees of loft and is gripped up with a SuperStroke Zenergy Flatso 1.0 grip that seems to be fairly well loved. For ball, he's playing the Srixon Z-Star Diamond, which if you're not familiar with, you're probably familiar with the Z-Star and the Z-Star XV. The Diamond is a newer ball that came out a few years ago, and it basically plays as a higher spinning Z-Star. It's got a launch similar to XV, a little bit higher spin. It's got a mid-high trajectory, 3-piece ball. But if you're looking for a little bit more spin than the XV with similar launch, the Diamond could be a great ball to try. Now, Taylor looks to also be playing 2 different grips. So the Woods look to have the Golf Pride MCC grip in black and gray. This grip has a firmer rubber and corded section in the upper hand, and then when you get to the lower hand, it's a little bit softer, and it has the alternating black and gray colors for a little bit more feel. The irons and wedges look to have the very famous Golf Pride Tour Velvet cord on them. So 2 different feels. The cord is definitely probably one of the firmest grips that Golf Pride makes. The Z cord maybe just a little bit firmer, but the Tour Velvet cord still has the cord running through it, a little rougher, great for wet conditions or hands that sweat a lot, and players who like a little bit firmer feel. So that is Taylor Pendrith's What's in the Bag from his win at the CJ Cup Byron Nelson. Congratulations to him on his first PGA Tour win. That's always awesome to see. And come on back next week when we take a look and see what the winners got in their bag next week.